If you're sick and tired of spending all of your hunting budget on lodging and hotels, this is how I save money and make sure I'm not tied down to one spot. This is my mobile hunting rig that allows me to hunt all over the country and not spend money on hotels. I have over 100 nights sleeping in this vehicle right here. I'm gonna walk you through all the things that I do to make it as enjoyable and as efficient as possible. What's the average cost of a hotel or a motel in one of those podunk little towns? Maybe $60 on the low end. Again, I have 100+ nights sleeping in my vehicle. If I was to spend 100 nights in those motels, it'd be $6,000 that I've saved by strictly sleeping in my vehicle, and I still managed to get really exceptional sleep, and I'm gonna show you how. So the foundation of this entire system is what allows me to sleep, and sleeping on a hunting trip is super critical. You usually don't get a lot of it, so the sleep you do have has to be high quality. And the first thing that I have here is this Hest sleep system. It basically is an inflatable box spring and then a very high quality memory foam topper. And this is not cheap, but again, it's an investment into your mobile sleep system that will save you money in the long run by not having to spend money on hotels. So I have back problems. I go to a chiropractor a lot. When I sleep on this thing, I am rock solid. I get great sleep anywhere in the country. The next thing you need is a good sleeping bag. I'm about to leave on a solo rut hunt tomorrow, so I have a 0-degree mummy bag. This thing is extra long, extra wide. It really fits me. I'm 6'5", so I like having a very oversized sleeping bag, but it's key to be able to stay warm while you're sleeping, even in low temperatures. And if I'm somewhere that I don't have power, one thing that I'll do is I'll open 3 packs of hot hands. I'll put 2 of them down by my feet, 2 of them kind of mid-body, then 2 of them up by my shoulders. And that sleeping bag traps all that heat and allows me to stay warm all night long. So next we'll talk about this rack that I have. This is what I call my deer hauler. And this one I especially like because it actually comes out and goes up a little bit and gives me some extra clearance. A lot of these racks are level. Some of them even dip down, and it makes it tough when you're backing up and there might be some unlevel ground. A lot of times when you're hunting, this one raises everything up and I'm good to go. But this is my prep surface for all my gear. This is where I do my cooking. And in my Yeti, I like to pack factor meals. They're pre-packaged meal prep things that I order way ahead of time and I freeze them. And then I fill my Yeti full of them while I go on these trips, and I'll show you how I prepare those in a minute. But I also always bring a target, so that way if I bump my sight or something gets messed up on my bow, I have a way to be able to correct things, tighten everything back down, and get them in the right spot. But now moving inside the vehicle, I always put my boots in the way back. Your boots get muddy, they get dirty, you walk through poison ivy, you don't want it all over the rest of your gear. So I like to designate a spot in the very back for my boots. So I'll go ahead and pull these out and then we'll just work from the outside in. On top of everything, I have my Mystery Ranch bow case, and I really like this bow case. It's a soft case, but still has enough structure to really support your bow and protect it. It doesn't take up as much room as a hard case, but still provides adequate protection. One thing I'll do midday while I'm just moving gear around is this might live on my bed, and then before bed, I'll just move it out of the way. And when I leave on a rut trip, the conditions are super unpredictable. It might be 70 degrees one day, the next day it might snow. So I have 2 of these scent-free bags. I can't remember where I got these or when I got these. I'm sure you can get them on Amazon. I actually have 2 of these, one with my lighter and mid-weight stuff and the other one with my heavyweight stuff, again, to make sure that I'm prepared for whatever Mother Nature throws at me. And I just posted a video talking about how I layer for rut hunting. And if you guys want to check that out, I'll link it somewhere up here. But that's the next thing that goes in. And I use these bags instead of totes because I'm able to mold these and push them into certain areas if I'm running low on space, whereas a tote takes up a certain amount of space and there's nothing you can do about how much space it takes out. I can smash these up into the windshield of my car. I can do a lot of things with these, but that's the next thing that goes into my vehicle when I pack. Next up, I'm a saddle hunter. I self-film all of my hunts, but I like to have a designated backpack specifically for packing meat out. A lot of my hunts are deep into big timber, so I have a Kafaru backpack that's perfect for hauling meat. Inside there, I have reusable game bags, I have my gutting knife, I have everything ready to go, flashlights. It's my kill kit that lives in there, so when I shoot a deer, I can bring all my saddle gear and camera gear back to the car, grab this, go pack everything out, and be good to go. So this lives with me in my car as well. So the next section here on the side is my hunting stuff. So this is where I actually do use a tote, and I can pull this out and And I have my Latitude Ranger 33, which I normally keep pre-packaged with all my camera gear as much as I possibly can, keep it all together. And then inside this tote, I keep all the stuff that I need to hunt. So I have my saddle, I have my camera arm, I have my Profile XL, I have my climbing sticks, I got my knee pads, everything that I would take with me into the woods to hunt goes right back into this tote so it all stays in one place. I'm not just throwing things in the car and getting super disorganized. I want all of my stuff in one place so I always know where to find it. And then when I do get out to hunt, I can get my tote out, I can figure out what I need, pack my backpack up, I hit the woods and I'm good to go. So in the event that I do pull into a place that has power, sometimes I will get a cheap campsite if it has electric hookups and I'm gonna be there for a long time, especially when it's cold. I do like to bring this little heater. This thing's all banged up because it's traveled all over the country with me, but it is nice to be able to run that when it's freezing cold out. And for that reason too, I also keep an extension cord, and I'll get into it in a second. I do have an alternative power source, but it's just not powerful enough to use the heater. But that goes with me. And then I always stay stocked up on hand warmers. Again, like I said earlier, I'll put these in my sleeping bag when I'm sleeping to keep me warm if I don't have power to run the heater, and it does a really good job. Or I take these with me hunting every time. Even when I do use heated shirts, pants, and heated hand muff, I use these just to add extra heat while I'm hunting. I have a lot of other stuff like Sunaway soap if I have a place to shower. And then my alternate power source that's been super handy and allows me to charge all of my camera batteries and my laptop is my Jackery power station. And I actually just keep this plugged into the car charger at all times. So whenever I'm driving or my car is running, this thing's getting charged up. And it seems like whenever I'm on an out-of-state trip, I end up doing a lot of driving during the day. So this way it gets all charged up, and that has enough juice to power all of my electronics and get me ready for the next day of hunting. So that lives in my car as well. So on this side, I have stuff just packed in here kind of wherever it fits. But on this side, I have an Outdoor Edge knife kit. And this just allows me to process deer. If I do shoot one on one of these trips, I can get it broke down nice and efficient. I have my jet boil, and I get a lot of use out of this, either by boiling water to make oatmeal or something like that. Or the other thing that's been super handy is it has this little pan holder that goes on the burner. So I can put that on there and it gets nice and secure. And then I can actually put a pan on there, and that's how I heat up my factor meals. I'll dump one of those frozen factor meals onto the pan, just warm it up until it's all hot. I eat it right out of the pan so there's not a lot of dishes, and then I just wash the pan. This packs down, everything gets put away, and I'm good to go until my next meal. But I get a ton of use out of this jet boil. Next thing in here is something that saved my butt on more trips than I care to admit, and that is this jump starter air compressor combo. This thing has saved my butt. Like I said, I've had so many flat tires when I come out of the woods, and I just add some air, and for whatever reason, it holds the air. Everything's good after that. And then the other thing that I like this is that if I come back and I'm in the middle of nowhere with no service and my battery's dead, I got a jump starter. I can use this to get back on the road and not have it be a huge hindrance on my trip. So that's another thing that goes with me no matter where I'm headed. Other in case of emergency items, I have this, which I've never used, just a tire patch kit. I have had flat tires, but I've been able to get into an actual repair shop. I have extra jet boil fuel, so that's always in here. And then even though I do have the compressor jump starter kit, I do also take this with me. And this is the Zeus from Uncharted Supply Co. This is basically another jump starter kit. And that way I don't have to use excess battery on that. I can have that reserved for the air compressor. This I use for the jump starter. And that way I'm never stranded in the middle of nowhere. This is something that you probably would wonder why you have. I have mechanic wipes. These are solvent wipes that get oil off your hands, and I use these if I'm in an area that I'm touching poison ivy or might have risk of touching poison ivy. As soon as I get out of the woods, I wipe down all exposed skin areas with these. I use these scouting, I use these hunting. They have a little bit of a smell to them, but that's worth getting that oil off your skin because poison ivy sucks. I've had it so many times. I'd rather just wipe down when I get out of the woods and eliminate as much of that as possible. The last in case of emergency thing is a really nice first aid kit. This is from Uncharted Supply Co. Again, you never know when you need different things. I like to be prepared for any situation, especially again if I'm out in a remote area. That way if you get injured somehow, you have what you need to be prepared to deal with it and keep yourself safe. The last thing in the back seat is a stack of hats. You never know what hat's gonna be lucky for the day. I like to have options. I like to mix it up. Keep those with me. As deer hunters, we could be a little superstitious. I'm personally not superstitious, I'm just a little stitious. But the other thing I have for my sleep system is this rechargeable fan. It gets stuffy in the car, so you have to crack all the windows. I like to have a fan to help ventilate air. Even when it's cold, I'll run this fan just to help airflow and make sure it's not stuffy. But that's the main bulk of everything that's in the general compartment of the vehicle. The last area, the front, I generally just have my food and groceries as well as my duffel bag full of clothes, which I don't have with me right now. And then other just quick grab items like my water bottles and then my binoculars. A lot of times on these trips, I'm glassing from the road, checking out new areas. So in here, I just have my Hawk 10x42s and they just live in my bino harness and stay up front with me. They go wherever I go. But this system allows me to hunt anywhere in the country, and I'm never tied down to one specific area. There's been times where I was hunting one side of a state and I wanted to go to the complete other side of the state on a moment's notice, and I can just do that. I'm never tied down to a specific area. I don't have to spend $1,000 to reserve an Airbnb weeks or months in advance. I could be super spontaneous, hunt on the fly, and if I kill, I just pack up and go home. I'm not wasting a bunch of money on an Airbnb that I already had booked. If you guys have any suggestions on how to make this system even better, things that I can incorporate to make my hunting rig even more efficient, I am all ears. But if you guys enjoyed this video, check out these two videos right here.